Hello and welcome to my video, the 2020 Ultimate Woodcutting Guide. The first thing we're going to go over is why do you want to get your woodcutting up? First off, there are many quests in the game that require woodcutting, so if you want to finish all quests or you want to get the benefit from these specific quests, you want to get your woodcutting up so that you can complete these quests. Some of these quests are pretty crucial, such as Lunar Diplomacy, which unlocks the Lunar Spellbook, the Fremennik Trials, which unlocks the Berserker Helmet and the quest line that will further unlock better helmets. Next is the Achievement Diary requirements. There are quite a few achievement diaries that require woodcutting. When you finish achievement diaries, they provide bonuses throughout the game, so it's another good thing to get done if you want to have all of the bonuses and benefits that you can get throughout the game. Another reason why you may want to get your woodcutting up is if you are a clue person, you like doing clue scrolls, well, Elite and Master Clues have challenge steps where you need skills. And there are a couple steps that require woodcutting. If you're an Iron Man, you may want to get your woodcutting up to get resources. Woodcutting is supposed to be a resource gathering skill that focuses on getting logs. So anything that you need logs for, woodcutting should be the best method for that. Of course, there are bosses that drop logs nowadays, but woodcutting is still a good method. So if you need logs for birdhouses, or if you need logs for fletching bows or shafts, or logs for construction, you'll want to get your woodcutting up to get those. Another reason why some people may want to get their woodcutting up is for money. I'll say right now off the bat, woodcutting is not a good method to get money. There are many better options to get money in the game than woodcutting. So if that is the main reason why you want to get woodcutting up, I'm just letting you know right now, woodcutting is not a good money maker. It is possible. If you're set on getting money from woodcutting, you can do it. It's just not good. Some of the methods where you can make money are ents, 1.5 tick mahogany, banking the logs, 1.5 tick teak, banking the logs, 3 tick oak, magic trees, and yew trees. And then finally, maybe you just want that cool woodcutting cape, or possibly the max cape. Both of those capes require 99 woodcutting. Let's get into how woodcutting works. Woodcutting is typically a 4-tick action where 1 tick is 0.6 seconds. So every 4 ticks, there is a roll to see if you successfully chop a log or you don't. Better axes and a higher woodcutting level increase the chance that that is a successful roll and you get a log. Most trees around the game have a 1 in 8 chance of depleting or being chopped down every time you obtain a log from it. There are a few exceptions, such as regular trees, which get chopped down after 1 log. Redwood sections that you cut have a 1 in 11 chance of depleting rather than 1 in 8. And so woodcutting, just like a lot of gathering skills, you can actually manipulate the tick system and make it where it should be 4 ticks. You can make it so it's actually only 2 ticks or 3 ticks where it rolls for the log. So if you make it 2 ticks rather than 4, that essentially doubles the speed at which you're cutting the logs and double the XP rate. For 3 tick, people typically start a 3 tick action, such as making some guam tar. That is a 3 tick action. So if you use a guam on swamp tar with a pestle and mortar in your inventory, that will start a 3 tick action. After you start that action, before it completes, you click on a tree, and then when it should have completed, it will actually complete the chop on the tree rather than making the guam tar. For woodcutting, 3 tick is a lot of effort for not that much gain. So not too many people do 3 tick woodcutting, but there's an even better method, which is 2 tick. And you don't really need to understand why it works. All you need to know is that you need to have auto retaliate on. You need to have a 3 tick weapon such as a magic shortbow with no ammo equipped, and then you need to be getting attacked every 2 ticks. People do that by getting 2 monsters attacking them. So with those 2 attacking you, you can set it up to where you're getting attacked every 2 ticks. So once you have that equipment and you're getting attacked every 2 ticks, you want to click on the tree, click on the ground, or do something that cancels your woodcutting, and then auto retaliate to the thing that is attacking you. And as soon as you auto retaliate, you want to click back on the tree and you will instantly roll for a log from the tree. So down below I have a video of me doing standard, 3 tick, and 2 tick. I'll explain how to set up 2 tick for a couple different methods at that specific methods section. Also down in the description I will link to some more guides on how to 2 tick and 3 tick woodcut. Next, let's talk about woodcutting equipment. First off, we have the axes. So we start all the way down at bronze and it goes up in your standard fashion on RuneScape. So bronze, iron, steel, black, mithril, adamant, and then rune. Those are your most basic, cheap axes. Every tier up, it gets better and better. You also have a gilded axe, which is just as good as a rune axe. And then the tier above those, you get into dragon axe, infernal axe, and third age axe. Those three are all the same as far as speed to woodcut. The dragon and infernal axe have a special attack, which gives you a +3 woodcutting boost. The special attack can be used outside of combat. The infernal axe has a special effect where it has a 1 in 3 chance of just instantly burning the log that you would have gotten, and it gives you half the fire making XP that you would have gotten for burning that log with a tinder box. So the infernal axe is very good if you want to AFK. It lets you AFK more, it lets you click less, lets you drop less logs, and you get fire making XP while doing it. The infernal axe does have charges though, so you have to recharge it with either dragon axes or smoldering stones. And then the best axe as far as woodcutting speed is the crystal axe. So the dragon, third age, and infernal axe, those are 10% better than the rune axe as far as cutting logs. Then finally we have the crystal axe, which is the best axe in the game as far as the speed at which you get logs. The crystal axe is 15% better than the rune axe. It also has a special attack that gives you a +3 woodcutting boost. The crystal axe does have charges, and you have to recharge it with crystal shards. You lose 1 charge for every log that you get, and 1 crystal shard will give it 100 charges. For most people, the crystal axe is not worth it at all because the charges go pretty quick and it's fairly hard to get the crystal shards. Not only that, but you're missing the fire making XP that you would be getting if you were using the infernal axe. So for most people, the infernal axe is the best axe that you want to use. Next up, we have the woodcutting outfit, which is called lumberjack. This gives an XP bonus. So if you have the entire set, you get a 2.5% XP bonus to woodcutting. Next is the Kandaren headgear. You get this from doing the Kandaren achievement diary. It gives you an extra log when cutting regular trees. You do not get additional XP. Then we have the strung rabbit foot. It changes the nest drop table. It removes 5 seed slots. So if you're someone who is trying to get god eggs from woodcutting, this item is actually useful. The chance of getting a god egg nest goes from 3 in 100 to 3 in 95. So just a slight boost there. Starting out, levels 1 to 35. The best thing that you can do when starting out is doing the quest A Monk's Friend. It will get you instantly from level 1 to level 13. The quest only takes about 3 to 10 minutes. It gives you 2,000 woodcutting XP. Then there are some other quests that you can potentially do for 13,887 woodcutting XP, which will get you from level 13 to 31. Most of these quests are longer quests and they do have some requirements. So if you're a newer account, you probably don't want to get your stats up just to do these quests for a very small amount of woodcutting XP. Ultimately, they probably would be the most efficient way to go because you're finishing both a quest and getting your woodcutting up at the same time. But people that just care about getting their woodcutting up, you can go ahead and skip these quests. After finishing the quests that you want to finish, if you're still under 15 woodcutting, then you want to cut regular trees up until you hit 15 woodcutting. So that should be about 15k XP per hour. Once you hit level 15 woodcutting, so from level 15 to 35 woodcutting, you want to cut oak trees. You can 3-tick woodcut these, which is about 33k XP per hour average over that level range. You could also AFK them, and that is about 25k XP per hour over that level range. You want to be using the best axe available to you. Regular trees are all over the place. Oak trees, there are those all over the place too. Some of the common places people cut them are Draenor Village, north of the Crafting Guild, southwest of the Varrock West Bank. Let's go ahead and talk about the efficient level 35 to 99. So the efficient route, you want to essentially just do 1.5 tick teak trees the entire way. You unlock teak trees at level 35 woodcutting, and that is the best method to get to 99. The requirements are Bone Voyage, 35 farming, 3 grown teak trees, 35 woodcutting, stamina potions, 3-tick manipulation method, example is a pestle mortar, and Guam and Swamp Tar. It's recommended to have lumberjack gear, the best axe you can use up to infernal or crystal. Crystal, you're going to save about 3.5 hours to 99 over like infernal or dragon. But you're gonna have to spend 1,500 crystal shards. So that is a big cost. So if that is worth it to you, if that trade-off is good, then you can go ahead and do that. I would not recommend though. So from level 35 to 99 woodcutting, doing 1.5 tick teak trees, the time is about 70 hours. You're gonna average about 186k XP an hour over that time. you're going to have to cut about 150,000 teak logs. Free fire making XP gained if you use an infernal axe is 2.25 million fire making XP. The supplies that you're going to need are 325 stamina potions 4. If you're using an infernal axe, about 10 dragon axes. If you're using a crystal axe, about 1.5 thousand crystal shards. The probability of getting a beaver pet by 99 is 44%. Or 1.5 tick teaks, the place where you do it is Fossil Island. So here's Fossil Island. You got to do Bon Voyage, as I said earlier. So here we are on Fossil Island. You just come over here, go through this hole if you have the agility level. Otherwise, you have to run around, and eventually you come over here to these trees. This is where you grow your trees. You want to grow 3 teak trees, as I said was required, and this is where it takes place. What you want to do for 1.5 tick teaks is you want to make sure you're cutting on the corners of the tree, and you want to have a 3 tick manipulation method. So what you want to do is you want to use or start your 3 tick action like this, and then you want to run to the other corner wherever you're not standing at, and then click on the tree. It will give you a chance of cutting the tree 2 times. So that's why it's 1.5 tick, because you're actually doing 3 tick, but you get 2 chances at cutting the tree. So it's essentially halves the 3 tick. And then you just repeat that over and over. So I will go ahead and show you guys this now. So every time before you move, you want to do your 3 tick manipulation, move, and then click on the tree. That is the order of action. 3 tick, move, click on the tree. 3 tick, move, click on the tree. And also you want to be sure to drop your logs as well. It's a little hard to do all of that, but with a little bit of practice, you can get it down. I have not done too much of this method. Literally, I've done about 5 minutes right now just testing it out, so I may not be the best, but this is the best method once you get it down. And it doesn't take too long to get it down. In 5 minutes, I would say I have it 85% of the way down. So you just basically like this, move, click on the tree, and then you just repeat that over and over. When the tree goes down, you want to move to the next part, drop the logs in between moving to the other tree. Right there, I just screwed up. So once again, just practice. Practice makes perfect. 3 tick, move, click on the tree. 3 tick, move, click on the tree. 3 tick, move, click on the tree. Next up, for the Afk levels 35 to 99. So from level 35 to 65, you want to do teak trees. The requirements are started Monkey Madness if using the Apital area, or you need to have started the Taibo Wane cleanup minigame if you want to use a hardwood grove. You need to have done Song of the Elves for the priff location, and there are other locations with no requirements, but they're not quite as good and usually crowded. There's one spot with no requirements that is southwest of Castle Wars. The best locations though are the Hardwood Grove, Apital, and Priff Dennis. The time is about 8 hours and the logs to cut is about 5,000. Moving on to level 65 to 99, we're going to be doing sulliuscep mushroom trees. So the requirements for this are Bon Voyage and 65 woodcutting. It's recommended to have lumberjack gear, high HP is helpful, high healing food, a rake, Dixite Pendant, and Banking Teleport is also extremely recommended. Location is Fossil Island. The time is about 150 hours, average about 84k XP per hour. Probability of getting a pet by 99 is 25%. Set mushroom woodcutting. This is the setup I would recommend. You want your lumberjack gear for the XP bonus. Also, you want to maximize your defense and your HP regeneration. So HP cape gives me an HP regen bonus, same with regen bracelet. Bulwark, lots of defense bonus, same with fury and ring of suffering. If you don't have this exact gear, just try and maximize your defense bonus and HP regeneration, and use lumberjack if you have it. As for the inventory, I have an axe. I'd recommend a dragon or an infernal, unless you have a lot of crystal shards. It's going to take about 1,000 crystal shards to go from 65 to 99 woodcutting. Also, you need a Dixite pendant, some way to bank, so I just brought house teleports for my banking method, a rake, an antidote or some sort of anti-poison, and then food. I brought Saradomin brews for my food. So first we're going to head over there, so we're going to teleport to Fossil Island. If you don't have the mush trees unlocked, you're going to need to run to these 2 locations. You want to run to this house and click on the mush tree, that will unlock it there. And then you need to run over here to the swamp, run through the swamp and get to this spot right here and click on the mush tree, that will unlock it. Once they're unlocked, you can just click on this after you teleport to this location. You want to hit 3, which will take you to Sticky Swamp. Once you're here at Sticky Swamp, there's going to be a spot to woodcut that is located right here, the sulliuscep sprout. So mine's already cut down, so I can't cut it right now. But you're going to cut this spot until it's chopped down. Once it's chopped down, you're going to move over here and chop this thick vine. And then you're going to move down here to the second location. So the second location is right here. Once again, I've already chopped this location, so it's chopped down for me, and it always goes in the same order. It's not random, it's always the same order. So you're going to chop this spot second. After you've chopped this spot, you're going to go to spot number 3. So you're going to run up here north. Once again, you got to chop through these vines. These tar monsters will attack you, so that is why you want your defense bonus. Keep running up here. You're going to chop through these thick vines. And then location number 3 is just right here. So you want to cut this sulliuscep. You want to use your axe's special attack whenever you can to boost your woodcutting level up. So once that is chopped down, number 3 is done, and we're going to move on to spot number 4. So for spot number 4, you're going to move over here. You're going to clear the vines. This is going to use your rake. So once those are cleared, you're going to move over to this spot over here, and this is spot number 4. So cut sulliuscep. These mushrooms aren't worth much, so we're going to go ahead and drop them, but you want to make sure you keep 9 of them. You need 9 of them. So we're going to go ahead and drop, but we're going to keep 9. So I currently have that is 9 right there. So any extras I'm going to drop. Once spot number 4 is chopped down, we're going to move on to spot number 5. So to do that, we just move over here, cut this vine right here, cut this vine right here. So once number 5 is down, we're going to go to the final location that is located right here. So spot number 6. When spot number 6 is down, we're going to go ahead and move over to this thing. We're going to do jump on rubber cap mushroom. Before you do this, you want to set up the endpoint. So I'll go ahead and show you guys that right now. So you want to set this up before you jump. So your very first time over here, you're going to want to put down 9 mushrooms. So you just use the mushrooms on it, takes 9, and it fills that thing. So you want to do that first. If you don't do that, you're going to take like 50 damage when you jump. So every time you do a run like that, make sure you keep 9 mushrooms so you can reset that. You can teleport to your house and restore your stats, and then use your dig site pendant inside your house to teleport back to the house. Use the house mush tree and then teleport back here like we did at the very beginning. That you can do that instead of using this mushy bed. You can also just use a dig site pendant that you bring along with you just to teleport to the house, and then use the mush trees to get back here instead of using this mushy bed. And then yeah, you just basically repeat that cycle over and over. Let's go ahead and talk about the fast training methods that were not part of the efficient 99 route. So we have 2-tick teak, 1.5-tick mahogany, and sulliuscep mushrooms. For 2-tick teak trees, requirements are you need to have started Monkey Madness for Apatol, or completed Song of the Elves for the Priff location. It's recommended to have lumberjack gear and the best axe up to Infernal, or a crystal if you have lots of shards to spend. Locations are Apatol or Priff. So this method is up to 180,000 XP per hour, and if you're using the Priff location, you can also get 23 crystal shards an hour. This option is a good option if you need crystal shards and want slightly less click intensive method than 1.5-tick. So 70 to 99 at Priff would be about 80 hours, and you would gain 1.5k crystal shards unless you're using a crystal axe, and you break about even. So an explanation of how you do 2-tick woodcutting was given at 3:45 in this video, so you can go back to that if you want to check that out, or in the description I should have some videos linked that give an even further explanation of how 2-tick woodcutting works. To set it up on Apatol, as you guys see in the video, what you want to do is you want to get 2 birds that are just flying around the trees. You want to attack them and get them attacking you at that 2-tick interval. And then, as was explained earlier on in the video, you just click the ground, click the tree, click the ground, click the tree, and just repeat that in that 2-tick interval cycle. You can also 2-tick at Priff. I believe it's 23 shards an hour if you're doing this pretty efficiently. These rabbits are a bit harder to stack than the birds on Apatol though. So sometimes you just have to kind of mess around until you get it right. As you see, they don't really stack unless you step on their square, then they will stack, but it can be a bit annoying, so sometimes you just have to move around and try to get them off tick. So when you got one attacking you like this and the other one's stuck, just as soon as it attacks you, you want to move to the other square. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And now they are correctly timed. So this method is the same as on Apital. You just click on the tree, click on the ground or whatever with auto retaliate on. So if you want to move over to this tree, what you want to do is move to this square and then this square pretty quickly. And you want to do it right as soon as one of them attacks you. So let's go ahead and try that. And there we go. See, they stayed in cycle. And then if you want to move back to that square, basically do the same thing, but move to this square and then this square. So as soon as one attacks you, you want to do that. And they stay correctly timed. The next method is 1.5 tick mahogany trees. So the requirements are bon voyage, 55 farming, 50 woodcutting, 3 grown mahogany trees, and 70 agility. So it's recommended to have lumberjack gear and best axe up to a dragon or a crystal if you have lots of crystal shards to spare. Location is Fossil Island. This method is up to 115,000 woodcutting XP an hour. This method, you are meant to bank the logs. It's for Ironmen who need mahogany logs for construction or main accounts that want a little bit of profit while woodcutting. If you're not planning on banking the logs, I wouldn't recommend this method because you can just do 1.5 tick teak, which is essentially the same effort, and get a much higher XP rate. 50 to 99 woodcutting with this method is about 150 hours, and you will bank about 100,000 mahogany logs. For 1.5 tick mahogany trees, it's exactly the same method as 1.5 teaks, which was shown in detail at 1029. So go back to that part if you want an in-depth on how you do this. There's one difference, and that is that you're going to be banking your logs. So once you have a full inventory, you want to go through the tunnel and go and bank at the bank on Fossil Island, or you can teleport to a bank such as Castleworth to bank and then use a dig site pendant to get back, or you can go to your house and have your butler turn your logs into planks and then teleport back with a dig site pendant. If you're teleporting back with a dig site pendant, the fastest way is to teleport to the dig site and then just use the travel option on the boat and then go through the tunnel. The next method is sulliuscep mushroom trees. So the requirements are bon voyage, 65 woodcutting is recommended to have lumberjack gear, the best axe up to an infernal, or crystal axe if you have the shards to spend. High HP is helpful, high healing food, rake, dig site pendant, and banking teleport are extremely recommended. Location is the Fossil Island. This method is up to 110,000 XP an hour. This method is fairly AFK and relaxed, while also giving some pretty good XP rate. So this method is highly recommended for anyone who wants a middle of the road option where it's sort of AFK but also really good XP rates. Full explanation for the sulliuscep mushroom woodcutting method was given at 1347 of this video. Make sure to go back to that point so that you can get a full rundown on how to do the method. It is a pretty long explanation and I didn't want to have to do it multiple times, so that is why I'm telling you what point to go back into the video to watch it. Let's go ahead and go over the other AFK methods that were not already mentioned in the AFK route level 35 to 99. Just a quick reminder, the methods we went over in that section were teak trees and sulliuscep mushrooms. So if you want to get a rundown on those methods, make sure to go back to the AFK route level 35 to 99. So the other AFK methods that we have that we're now going to go over are listed here. Next, let's go ahead and talk about the mahogany tree method. So mahogany trees require 50 woodcutting. There are no other requirements to cut mahogany trees, but there are a few different locations, and some of the best locations have requirements to get into that location. People like cutting them in the Hardwood Grove. That requires you to have started the Taibo cleanup minigame. There's some in Priff that require Song of the Elves. There's some on Apital that requires to have started Monkey Madness. There are some north of the Farming Guild. That is the location that has no requirements. This method is about 25 to 60,000 woodcutting XP an hour. Mahogany trees are fairly AFK. They're more AFK than teak trees, but they are a bit lower XP an hour. Mahogany logs do have a decent value, so you can bank them and sell them as a way to make money on a main account, or if you're an Iron Man, you can bank them for construction XP. For these trees, it's expected to click a new tree about every 1 minute and bank or drop the logs about every 3.5 minutes. That's for the upper levels and upper XP rates. The next method is willow trees. These require 30 woodcutting. It's recommended to have lumberjack gear and best axe up to an infernal. Location is Draenor Village or Barbarian Assault. So these are about 25 to 60,000 woodcutting XP an hour. You can expect to click a new tree about every 33 seconds and drop an inventory about every 1 minute 52 seconds at the upper ends. Next we have maple trees. These require 45 woodcutting, 60 Woodcutting and 75% Hostedi's favor if you want to use the Woodcutting Guild location, which is the best location. Dragon Slayer for the Corsair Cove location, which is the free-to-play location. It's recommended to have Lumberjack gear and best axe up to the Infernal or Crystal if you have the shards to spend on it. The locations for maple trees are Woodcutting Guild, Sears Village, and Corsair Cove, to name some of the best locations. For maple trees, you can expect about 20 to 45,000 woodcutting XP an hour. These are about the same AFK-ness as mahogany trees. It's about 66 seconds you can expect before you have to click on a new tree, and about 3 minutes 50 seconds before you have to either drop an inventory or bank an inventory of logs. Yew trees require 60 woodcutting, 75% Hostedi's favor if you want to cut them in the Woodcutting Guild, which is the best location. It's recommended to have Lumberjack gear, best axe up to the Infernal or Crystal axe if you have the shards to spend. So some of the locations are Woodcutting Guild, which is the best, Rimington, and Catherby. The XP rates you can expect are about 20 to 40,000 XP an hour. These are even more AFK than the previous mentioned methods, so you can expect to have to click a new tree about every 2 minutes 9 seconds and to bank about every 7 minutes and 30 seconds. That is assuming that you have the yew trees to yourself. If there are other people there, that is going to lower the AFK time by a lot. Next up is magic trees. So these require 75 woodcutting and once again 75% Hostedi's favor if you want to cut them in the Woodcutting Guild. Also, Song of the Elves is required for the priff location, so it's recommended to have Lumberjack gear and best axe up to the Infernal or Crystal if you have the shards to spend. Some of the best locations for magic trees are the Woodcutting Guild, Priff Dinas, and the Sorcerer's Tower. You can expect about 10 to 18k XP an hour. You're going to need to click a new tree about every 6 minutes and 30 seconds and bank every 24 minutes. So these are extremely AFK, but that is assuming that you have them to yourself. If there are other people there, that is going to dramatically lower the amount of time that you can AFK. Redwood trees, these require 90 woodcutting, 75% Hostedi's favor for the Woodcutting Guild location, or 60% Hostedi's favor if you have 90 farming and you've grown your own at the Farming Guild. It's recommended to have Lumberjack gear and best axe up to the Infernal or Crystal axe if you have the shards to spend. Locations are the Woodcutting Guild and Farming Guild. The XP rates you expect are about 55 to 70,000 XP an hour. These are right between yew trees and magic trees as far as how AFK they are. You can expect to click a new tree or a new spot every 3 minutes and 40 seconds and to bank or drop your inventory every 9 minutes and 22 seconds. The final AFK method we have is Blisterwood. This requires 62 woodcutting and Sins of the Father quest. It's recommended to have Lumberjack gear and best axe up to the Infernal or Crystal if you have the shards to spend. Location is Darkmire. The XP rates you can expect are 50 to 80,000 XP an hour. This method is slightly less AFK than Teaks, while also being about the same XP an hour. So in my opinion, this method is not too good. I'd rather just go to Teaks, but some people like this location because the tree never gets cut down and it never changes locations. It's always there in the same spot, but it does stop you from cutting it randomly. Whenever it stops you from woodcutting, you have to click on the tree again. There is one method in this guide that is specifically for profit, and that is ents. Ents require 60 woodcutting and 75% Hostedi's favor if you want to cut them in the Woodcutting Guild location. The other location is the Wilderness, where it has no requirements. It's recommended to have a good weapon and the best axe that you can use. The Wilderness Medium Diary Completed is recommended if you're killing them in the Wilderness, because it offers a 15% increase in the speed that you cut your logs. The locations for the ents are Woodcutting Guild or Wilderness east of the Chaos Temple. You can expect up to 15,000 woodcutting XP an hour, and you can expect up to 600,000 GP per hour. Of course, both of those are at the upper ends at 99 woodcutting with the best stuff. So at lower levels, of course, you can expect lower than that. This method is fairly AFK and relaxed, but horrendous XP. It is the best money you can obtain from woodcutting, but compared to methods outside of woodcutting and the rest of the game, it's pretty bad. So I wouldn't recommend anyone do this. But if you're someone who wants to woodcut and gain money, this is the best option for that. So what you do for the ent method, ents are NPCs that you kill with combat first. After you kill them with combat, they will turn into a log on the ground, and then you chop the log on the ground that they leave. That will last for a random amount of time, and then you'll have to kill another one, and then they'll turn into a log, and you repeat. So a final little analysis comparing all the methods together. So right here in this graph, we have the XP rate of each method. Of course, 1.5 tick teaks are the best by a long shot. 2 tick teak are pretty close second, and pretty much every other method isn't really even close. Now, if we look at the graph with only AFK methods, we see that sulliuscep is the best out of the AFK methods, with teak and a blister wood being tied for second place. If we cut out some more methods, so it's only extremely AFK methods, we have redwood as the best, but that requires 90 woodcutting. Mahogany is second place, and that only requires 50 woodcutting. And then maple is third place, and that requires 45 woodcutting. It's a pretty consistent theme with woodcutting. The more AFK it is, the worse XP it is. The better XP it is, the more click intensive it is. Really, the only thing that breaks that mold is the newer method, which is sulliuscep mushrooms. And I would say that that is the best method to do for a middle ground. That is it for this guide. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe. I hope this helps you out. Go ahead and leave a comment. Leave a suggestion if you have any suggestions on how I could improve these videos. And we'll see you guys in the next video.